2023 has been brutal for the tens of thousands of tech sector employees who've been laid off by companies one after the other. Difficult to put an exact number, but as per an estimate, over 150,000 professionals working in the tech sector have lost their jobs in recent months, 80,000 of them in just the past 1 month. Major companies in the layoff spotlight include Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Meta, Facebook, as you would know, Twitter, Netflix, and the list goes on. All of these tech firms, including several others, have announced a significant cut in their workforce globally, leaving thousands without jobs across cities. What do these layoffs mean? Why are the companies cutting down on their workforce globally? How will it impact the global tech sector growth? All this and much more on this edition of the Global Debate. Joining me on the program are three distinguished experts. Let me begin the program first by introducing them to you. We have on the program Dr. Giacomo Santangelo, Senior Lecturer of Economics, Fordham University in New York, Mr. Amit Dubey, Cybersecurity Evangelist, Tech Mahindra, and Mr. Harpreet Singh Saluja, Founder, President, Nascent Information Technology Employees Senate. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the program today on Censored TV. Dr. Santangelo, let me begin the program today with you. First, your views on how you look at the global tech layoffs that are happening. What, according to you, are the key factors driving these mass layoffs by the most reputed companies across the world?
Well, I think what we're seeing is not so much the bursting of a tech bubble that everyone's talking about, but more the tech industry letting some air out of the balloon to take some of the pressure off of it. When we were going into the pandemic, we very quickly transitioned from going to movie theaters and going out to restaurants to staying home and watching Netflix and ordering food through various different food delivery services. So when that happened, the big tech companies like Amazon and Netflix were forced to also start hiring in large quantities in order to meet a very rapid increase in demand quite suddenly. And now coming out of that period of time, they find that they're really overemployed to a certain extent. And what I believe we're seeing with a lot of these layoffs are getting rid of some of the excess labor that they have.
Mr. Dubey, is that your opinion also, that perhaps during the pandemic, these companies overhired, went into this excessive hiring, and now they are not downsizing, but right-sizing? Would that be correct to say?
Yes, absolutely. They are actually right-sizing it because they, as Professor has mentioned, all these probabilistic approaches and extrapolation that has been tried out earlier to estimate the number of expertise they are required for a particular job, they have went wrong. They didn't work out. So I'm seriously surprised with their HR policies and processes. And it is not with one such company, it is with many of these companies. Those who are hiring people in competition. They were actually trying to retain experts despite of not having their work, and then eventually realize like this is not going to work for a long period, and they have to fire them because of the economic recession and global recession. Though there was a sudden sprite and after the pandemic, as Professor has mentioned, and there are two kinds of hiring those have happened during that time. One is product-specific experts, and another is service engineers. And actually, it is very unfortunate that most of these people, those who are fired, they are actually having expertise in one such area, which is actually rare otherwise. If you will see this 2 years back, it was very difficult to find such kind of experts. When they were hired, they were interviewed multiple times. There were 4 or 5 rounds of interviews, and then they were found that they are the best people in the industry right now, and that's why these big companies, big giants, they wanted to retain them. Now firing them, actually creating lots of issues and disturbances in the system because of the two reasons. These were not the service guys; those can be deployed anywhere.
Right.
They are having expertise in a particular domain, and they will need a job only in that domain. And soon, if they do not upgrade themselves or do not diverse their expertise in other domains, so I think that will be a big challenge for each one of them. Second, that they were highly paid. They were actually having a salary package which was quite higher than the average guy. I think that would also be a challenge. So these are the two definite challenges. Mostly those who are having H-1B visas in US and now they are on bench, they have to come back. They'll have issues in getting jobs in India as well. So I see it as a very unfortunate situation. Because people, those who are fired, they have very specific expertise. This is valued expertise. This would require anyways. But then there is an opportunity as well. Companies, those are actually looking for a little longer term, and
Absolutely.
they were looking for such kind of
Hold
experts.
on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. We'll come to the opportunity bit in just a bit, and also the implications, as you rightly pointed out. But before that, let me bring in Mr. Saluja into the discussion to understand the impact that it has had, particularly on the thousands of Indian professionals in the US. Mr. Saluja, help us and our viewers understand what group of employees has this firing spree impacted the most? Also, because what we learn is that a number of H-1B visa holders have been, left in the lurch. They are jobless and they're now scrambling for options to stay in the United States. So what exactly is the current scenario, if you could share with us and our viewers?
Yes, sure, Tinaji. Thank you for inviting me to your program. And yes, it is indeed a fact that during the COVID pandemic era, there was a certain overhiring done by these product-based companies, Google, whether it is Google, Microsoft, Amazon, or Meta. And because during the period of COVID pandemic, a lot of tech products needed an evolution, which certainly gave rise to a huge demand of seasoned and skilled IT employees. For example, Google made rapid changes to its video conferencing platform, which is Google Meet, and similarly, WhatsApp video conferencing was also developed. So these rapid changes in the app, according to the demand, required a huge number of resources, and which eventually forced the companies to hire these employees, whether they are from India or whether they were in US. But it is indeed a fact that these employees are being laid off blatantly and illegally by a lot of companies. Though we are seeing some emails where the companies are considerate enough to provide them retrenchment compensation or some sort of help regarding finding a new job or another opportunities, but it is not the similar case with every organization. There are a lot of employees who are struggling to find a new job in the US, and the US visa restrictions are also there, and they have a period of 6 months where if they are not able to find a new job within the certain period of time, then certainly they will be forced to come back to India.
That's right. So that's an additional challenge. So apart from losing your current job, you have to find a new one within a stipulated period of time. Very, very difficult and challenging times for those who've lost their jobs and are